having that local capacity to produce vaccines, get them to people quickly, and treat symptoms so that the implications of getting COVID are less severe. Those two things are going to be really critical in ensuring our reopening continues and we don't roll back.
This is the Midweek Exchange, and I'm Natalie Nanowski, joined by Brett House, Scotiabank's VP and Deputy Chief Economist. He's here to help break down those big economic issues and explain how they could impact your life. Hi, Brett. How are you doing?
It's good to see you, Natalie. I'm a bit behind on my Advent calendar, so I'm having a chocolate fest today.
That sounds amazing. I'm going to grab one with my coffee after. I want to talk to you now about some good news here in Canada when it comes to COVID-19. We know a company in Whitby, Ontario, is going to be one of 3 in the world that will be producing antivirals for COVID-19. And another company in Quebec is looking to get Health Canada approval on a COVID-19 vaccine made from plants. How are these medical advancements going to help Canada against the fight against the pandemic from an economic standpoint?
Well, they're really good news from both a public health point of view and for the economic outlook, because we're going to keep seeing new variants. We're going to keep seeing new waves in the pandemic that we have to respond to. And the combination of having at-home vaccination and vaccine manufacturing potential and also access to antiviral drugs here is going to be helpful in responding to those new developments. The most critical thing now is ensuring that we keep the reopening of our economy on track. And that means ensuring that we don't have to put public health restrictions back in place as those new variants and those new waves come our way. Having that local capacity to produce vaccines, get them to people quickly, and treat symptoms so that the implications of getting COVID are less severe. Those two things are going to be really critical in ensuring our reopening continues, that parts of the economy that aren't fully reopened get to full capacity, and we don't roll back.
Okay, so sticking to COVID-19, Canada is also looking at ways right now to use rapid antigen tests more frequently instead of those expensive and really time-consuming PCR tests. What does this mean for the future of things like work and public events?
Well, I think the rapid antigen tests are going to be a critical part of our toolkit in keeping the reopening of the economy going and responding to those new variants as they come along. Because they're cheaper, as you mentioned, they're faster, you can do them at home. They're not as accurate as the PCR tests, but if we were to use them in schools, in workplaces, to get on or off a plane to a greater extent, they would inevitably capture many more cases than we are when people have to go to a clinic or a hospital to get a test. And that's going to make workplaces, other interior spaces a lot safer, and is going to make our responses to new variants and waves a lot quicker. So I think most public health experts, and from an economics perspective, I would agree that rapid antigen tests are a critical part of keeping the economy and our public health outlook on a positive track.
Okay, and anything we should be looking out for in the coming week?
Well, the big tension, aside from Omicron in macroeconomic markets and analysis, is between the inflation numbers we're getting and what to expect from central banks. And I always like to say, let's keep our eyes focused on what's happening in Canada. But next week, the big action is really from the US Fed on Wednesday, where they'll be making their next interest rate decision. And they are likely to give us a hint on just how much more quickly they're going to be pulling back exceptional monetary support from the US economy. And that has implications for everyone in the world. It'll have an impact on the Canadian dollar, on what markets do here, and in big emerging markets as well, that often see big changes in capital flows when monetary policy resets in the United States.
All eyes will be focused on south of the border. Thank you so much, Brett.
Great to talk with you, and enjoy the Advent chocolate.
All right, thanks so much. And the Midweek Exchange will return next Wednesday.